And now, Eyewitness News Night Beat.
And good evening. Hours after a woman loses control of her car on a rain-slicked road, we are now learning the identities of those killed.
The three victims in this family tragedy were a mother and two of her children. Tonight, another child is in critical condition after this head-on collision with a truck in Harlingen. NightBEAT reporter Dee Griffin is there live now with more. Dee?
Denise, I'm along Route 4 in Harlingen. It's less than a mile from this spot where the family was nearly wiped out. The victims have been identified as Ann Avery of Canton. She's 52 years old. Her daughter, Elizabeth, who is 9 years old, and her 7-year-old son, Jeffrey. 12-year-old Stephen is in Connecticut's Children's Center recovering from injuries. Meanwhile, rescue workers here are recovering from what they had to deal with today.
I've been at it in Harlingen Department here 27 years, and this is by far the worst I've been involved with.
What happened here on Route 4 steps from Harlingen, he nor his firefighters won't soon forget. Here, speed and weather ushered a mother and two of her children to their deaths.
A small red Pontiac was traveling westbound on Route 4 here by Route 72. It was raining rather hard at the time. The vehicle went around a curve behind me, speeded a little too quickly, lost control, crossed over the center line, and struck a large truck head-on.
The truck driver was not seriously hurt, unlike many people who travel this road. This particular area is the site of numerous dangerous accidents a year, all because of drivers who refuse to obey the speed limit. When they do crash, volunteer firefighters from this department, yards away, race to the rescue. Each incident leaves a lasting impression, but these three deaths cause more of a scar.
You feel helpless. You do what you can, but it's not enough when basically God has taken them before we got to them.
To deal with their emotions, the 20 rescue workers on the scene returned to the firehouse for a special called stress relief session. Inside here, where they learned to save lives, they also learned how to handle situations like this when they don't.
They don't know quite how to express to themselves, I guess, how to accept it, you know, why this happened. And
12-year-old Stephen Avery is in critical condition tonight. Meanwhile, the truck driver, 60-year-old Leland Watts of Manchester, is being treated for shock. Denise?
All right, Dee. And as Dee just mentioned late tonight, we did learn the names of the victims. They are 52-year-old Ann Avery and two of her children, 9-year-old Elizabeth and 7-year-old Jeffrey. Right now, the NightBEAT crew is in their hometown of Canton, and we'll bring you more information as we get it. The rain also caused some minor accidents in the Hartford area today. 3 cars were involved in this accident on I-84 westbound near exit 48. The crash tied up traffic for a while, but no serious injuries were reported. The cause of the accident is still under investigation.
Well, the weather certainly something we all noticed today and had to deal with. The rain was coming down. There were downpours last night and most of the day today. Bruce DePrest will be along in just a few moments with more on this dark Thursday. But first, we have the scene in West Hartford tonight with a few people venturing out to enjoy the night air, being careful of some of the big puddles still out there. The rain has let up. The heavy rains have finally moved out through the state, and we have much calmer weather now in the wake of that.
And the results of the storm were quite apparent in these scenes tonight in the Black Point section of East Lyme. Many boats were pulled away from their moorings and thrown onto the rocks. Some showed extensive damage, and some were apparently a total loss. High seas and gale-force winds combined to pound the seacoast all along the Connecticut shore. And
indeed, the shoreline did seem to take the brunt of this storm as far as Connecticut is concerned. NightBEAT reporter Dennis House has the scenes from this dark Thursday in a report he filed earlier tonight.
The shoreline was pounded by this summer storm. Strong ocean winds and ferocious waves battered boats from Niantic to Westbrook.
Well, salvage company's going to be coming and taking it out as soon as the seas die down enough so they can get in here and get it out and get it rafted. They'll have to bridle it out off the rocks.
In West Haven, this barge broke free and slammed into the shore. On the other side of New Haven, in East Haven, the Cozy Beach neighborhood flooded quickly.
We were washing dishes and we looked outside and we saw a staircase float by. And then we went out.
Next door said, you know, you better move your car now, and we had no idea what she was talking about, and then we came outside and saw the whole street was flooded.
People who live here are used to ocean and rainwater washing out their streets, and they're prepared for just about anything.
We're kind of used to it. We've been down here a while, and the kids kind of enjoy it.
The torrential rains forced many vacationers to cancel beach plans, and many businesses that depend on the summer sun were forced to close. Even though some braved the storm under the watchful eye of police, the weather really wasn't fit for man or beast. I'm Dennis House, Channel 3 Eyewitness News on the NightBEAT.
So it all has been quite a day weather-wise, and the question on a lot of people's minds tonight is what's going to happen tomorrow and for the weekend?
Bruce DePrest is joining us with some more amazing pictures and a first look at Connecticut's most accurate forecast. Bruce?
Well, Denise, and now the good news is that the storm is over. No warnings along the shoreline right now, and live Doppler radar shows that we're pretty much precipitation free. There might be a few sprinkles or pockets of drizzle here and there, but the rain is essentially over, and we are heading towards some better weather, although things will be a little bit on the unstable side for tomorrow and Saturday. This storm did cause quite a bit of rough weather around the eastern United States. A state of emergency is declared after a series of thunderstorms unleashed 13.5 inches of rain along the southern New Jersey shoreline, soaking Atlantic County and closing the airport and dozens of roads. At the height of the record-setting storm, nearly 16,000 homes were without power, and key access roads into Atlantic City were under several feet of water. Now, the combination of high wind, rain, and rough seas put many people in serious danger about a mile off Long Island. The Coast Guard had to use a helicopter and basket to rescue a tugboat captain who couldn't control his boat. The tugboat later drifted ashore. But it was working with the dredge, replenishing sand along a road, when 15-foot waves caused 2 of the dredge's 3 moorings to break. Rescuers had to pull 18 people to safety. Now, the dredge could still break free, and that could spell trouble since it's carrying 117,000 gallons of diesel fuel. Around here, though, things are quiet, so let's take a look at our forecast for the rest of the nighttime period. We are expecting areas of fog. That's about the only fly in the ointment for tonight, with partially clearing skies. Wake-up time should be quiet with a little bit of sunshine and temperatures in the 60s. And tomorrow, much of the day looks good with a mix of clouds and sun. But again, the atmosphere is a little bit unstable, and the sun could lead to a few scattered showers or thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening, but no total washout like we had today. I'll let you know how much rain we had and what's in store coming up in a few minutes. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. A second suspect has now been arrested in the murder of a Hartford man described as a guardian angel. 25-year-old James Little of Hartford is now facing charges in the shooting death of Jay Boland, who was laid to rest today. Family and friends gathered to bid farewell to the man who had made it his business to safeguard his Beacon Street neighborhood in Hartford's West End. Boland was shot to death Sunday morning by a man he confronted. That suspect, 37-year-old Samuel Davis, was wounded by Boland. Davis is being held on $1 million bond tonight. The second suspect arrested today, Little, is being held on $750,000 bond.
A Madison factory worker's in jail tonight after allegedly hitting his supervisor in the head with a hammer, apparently because of the bad job review she gave him. The injured woman, 42-year-old Peggy Beach, is listed in stable condition tonight at Yale New Haven Hospital. The suspect, 32-year-old Felix Ortiz, will be arraigned on assault charges tomorrow morning.
A Bridgeport man pleads not guilty in the May kidnapping of a woman from the Connecticut Post Mall in Milford. Vernon Gomes is accused of abducting the woman at gunpoint as she left work, robbing her, and then forcing her to drive to New York. Gomes also faces similar charges in an attempted robbery at the Trumbull Shopping Park a week later.
In his quest to solve murder mysteries, Dr. Henry Lee is forming a partnership with NASA to see how space technology might help. Connecticut's forensic expert, Dr. Lee, thinks sophisticated sensors, such as those used on the Mars rover, might one day be placed at a crime scene and then transmit information back to him in his laboratory. Authorities say tonight there's no doubt that Carl Draga booby-trapped his property before going on a killing spree Tuesday in New Hampshire. Today they found 86 pipe bombs and 20 pounds of gunpowder along with fuses. They also discovered thousands of rounds of armor-piercing ammunition, as well as material that can be used to make explosives, and an elaborate tunnel system they still plan to explore. Draga killed 4 people, including 2 state troopers, execution style, and wounded 4 others before police killed him.
Sources in New York say a police officer accused of sexually torturing a Haitian immigrant probably mistook him for another man who had punched the officer, knocking him to the ground. That incident happening during a melee outside a nightclub. Also today, the 4 officers accused in that torture attack were indicted on charges that they attacked the victim because of his race.
The state of Idaho moves to beat a statute of limitations and arrests a Washington man for murdering a U.S. Marshal at Ruby Ridge 5 years ago. He'd previously been cleared of federal charges. He was a friend of white separatist Randy Weaver, whom authorities were trying to arrest that day. Prosecutors also charge an FBI sniper with manslaughter for killing Weaver's wife and son.
More trouble for the Denny's restaurant chain. A group of 10 Asian students in Syracuse claims their civil rights were violated when they were denied a table and threatened by a guard at Denny's. The civil suit seeks unspecified monetary damages from Denny's and from the county there for not investigating enough. Denny's has since apologized and fired the employees. 3 years ago, you remember, the chain settled a $46 million class action discrimination lawsuit.
Well, the head of America's largest tobacco company is talking about death and cigarettes. Is he just blowing smoke? You're going to hear his remarks for yourself.
Also in tonight's Night Beat, on both land and sea, authorities go all out for the capture after a high-speed chase.
Reunited, and it's never felt better. A mother gets back her son, who's not even 1 week old.
And do Connecticut colleges make the grade? The results of this year's study are in. Stay with us. The Night Beat's coming right back.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News. This is Connecticut's news station.